Hello! When should we use de and when should we use desde in Spanish? Both have a set of unique use cases, but sometimes they can be used interchangeably, which drives me nuts. So if you've ever been confused about whether you should say el tren va de Madrid a Barcelona or el tren va desde Madrid hasta Barcelona, then this video is for you. Thank you for joining, let's begin. First things first, both de and desde are prepositions. The preposition de can be translated as from or of, and the preposition desde can be translated as from or since. As you can see, the reason why we are here today is the fact that they can be both translated as from. Madre mia, what are we gonna do? Chapter 1. How to use de. You probably already know all this, but I have to be a professional and professionals are informative. Number 1. De can be used to indicate a generic origin or source. Remember the word generic, we're gonna use it a lot. For example, soy de Mexico means I'm from Mexico. This is a generic way to provide the information about someone's origin without emphasizing anything. Number 2. You can use de to show a possession or ownership. For example, el libro de Juan, which means the book of Juan or Juan's book. The book belongs to Juan. Easy, right? Number 3. You can use de to talk about the material of anything, that is, what something is made of. For example, una mesa de madera, a table of wood or a wooden table. Nothing crazy again, just a generic info. Number 4. Use de to describe a quality or a feature. Una persona de valor, a person of courage or a courageous person. Number 5. A content, that is, to show what something contains. Una taza de café, a cup of coffee. Number 6. A cause or a reason for something. Temblar de frío, which means to shiver from cold. Number 7. Time, place or period. Uncharted territory. El tren va de Madrid a Barcelona, which means the train goes from Madrid to Barcelona. Remember this one, we're gonna come back to it soon. Number 8. De can be used in a bunch of fixed expressions that you simply have to memorize. Examples can be de repente, de vez en cuando, de moda, and so on. What you see on the screen right now is a bunch of generic ways to describe stuff, without a specific emphasis, emotion, or love. None of that should be new to you if you've been learning Spanish for longer than a month. If it is new to you, then welcome to the channel, we do Spanish here. Chapter 2. Now let's see what desde has to offer. It's used to emphasize anything that's related to a movement through time and space. The key words here are emphasis and movement. I promise it's not that complicated. Number 1. You can use desde to emphasize the temporal origin. That is the starting point in time that is still going. For example, vivo aquí desde 2010, which means I live here since 2010. This is literally how we say it in English. The thing to note here is that we're emphasizing the starting point of time which is still moving. I moved here in 2010 and I still keep living here, but we are focusing on a starting temporal point which is 2010. Number 2. The same idea can be applied to the starting value or amount. For example, los precios comienzan desde $100. Prices start from $100. A shorter version of the first two use cases of desde can be summarized as follows. If you want to say since plus number, whether it's a year or a dollar amount, use desde. God, I'm the bestest professor ever. Number 3. Use desde to emphasize the spatial origin, that is the starting point of movement. For example, el tren va desde Madrid hasta Barcelona. Shit, here we go again. I mean, it's translated the train goes from Madrid to Barcelona, which doesn't help at all since el tren va de Madrid a Barcelona is translated the same way. We'll get to the details in a second, I promise. Number 4. Just like de, desde can be used in a bunch of fixed expressions, such as desde luego, desde mi punto de vista, desde hace, and so on. So what do we have up until this point? On one hand, we have a preposition de, which shows us generic facts such as possession, origin, or material. Something that is fixed in time and space. On the other hand, we have a preposition desde, which is all about focus or, dare I say, emphasis on anything that has to do with movement through time and space. And I know what you're thinking, for the love of God, just tell us already whether the train goes de Madrid a Barcelona or desde Madrid hasta Barcelona. You impatient. Let's get to it. Chapter 3. Everything about trains. I mean, de versus desde. Sometimes there are situations where both de and desde can be used to describe movements between locations, time periods, and ranges of prices or numbers. De versus desde number 1. Movement between locations. Let's look at our nemesis. El tren va de Madrid a Barcelona and el tren va desde Madrid hasta Barcelona. Both of these sentences are translated as the train goes from Madrid to Barcelona. The difference lies in what these sentences represent rather than what they are being translated as. You heard me saying the word generic a lot when we were talking about the preposition de, and you heard me using the word emphasis while discussing the preposition desde. So what we have in the first sentence is the generic information about the distance between Madrid and Barcelona with no depth, love, nor care whatsoever. Simply the generic fact that the train goes from point A to point B. But when we use desde in the second sentence, we are putting an emphasis on the starting point, which is Madrid, and the distance between Madrid and Barcelona. Essentially, what you're saying is the train goes from Madrid all the way to Barcelona. Maybe you're trying to indicate that the distance between these cities is long, or maybe you are just showing off by saying that you came all the way from Madrid. The first sentence says the train goes from Madrid to Barcelona. The second sentence says, oh my god, this goddamn train goes all the way from Madrid to Barcelona. You don't have to sound emotional when you use desde. It's just all about what you choose to focus on. You should have noticed that de is used with a and desde is used with asta. This is the normal way how to use these ranges. It would be incorrect to mix them up, please remember this. Either use de a or desde asta. Let's look at another example. De Boston a Nueva York hay 345 kilómetros, and desde Boston hasta Nueva York hay 345 kilómetros. So what do you think? Can you figure it out on your own? Pause the video if you feel adventurous. In the first sentence, we just generically say there are 345 kilometers from or between Boston and New York. The second sentence says there are 345 kilometers from Boston all the way to New York. Or how I'd like to say, oh my god, Johnny, have you seen this shit? The distance between Boston and New York is 345 goddamn kilometers! I don't know what kilometers are, but it seems like a big number, so I feel like I have to put a huge emphasis on this information. Again, you don't have to sound emotional, I just like thinking of it this way. Let's jump to the next section. De versus desde number 2. Time periods. Let's look at the first example. La tienda abre de 9 a 5. And la tienda abre desde las 9 hasta las 5. Both sentences are translated as the store opens from 9 to 5, but in the first case we're just providing a general information, and in the second case we're trying to emphasize the complete time span. Let me try to make it even more clear, just in case. La tienda abre de 9 a 5 is something that you can see on the entrance door to any store. But la tienda abre desde las 9 hasta las 5 is something that you may use in the conversation where you feel like it would be important to highlight from 9 to 5 part. For example, los lunes la tienda abre desde las 9 hasta las 5, así que tenemos mucho más tiempo para hacer las compras. Here we explicitly say that Mondays are good days to do grocery shopping because the store is open for 8 goddamn hours from 9 to 5. Please don't worry too much about it. Even if you want to put an emphasis on something but you use de a instead of desde hasta, you will still be understood. It's not a big deal. For the love of God, unclench your butt cheeks. Ah, much better. Let's look at another example. Trabajé de enero a junio and trabajé desde enero hasta junio. Again, the translation for both of them is I worked from January to June. The first sentence is just a straightforward and neutral information, while the second sentence tries to convey the idea of hey you, I worked from goddamn January to fucking June. Not April, not May, June. That's right, motherfucker, I'm better than you. Same goes for historical time periods. For example, Drácula vivió de 1547 a 1616. And Drácula vivió desde 1547 hasta 1616. By the way, long numbers can go f***. Both sentences are describing the life of Dracula, but the second sentence puts an emphasis on his long or short lifespan. Let me know in the comments down below whether you think that Dracula was a little bitch or not. De versus desde number 3. The price ranges. The same idea goes for money. For example, los precios varían de 10 a 50 euros, and los precios varían desde 10 hasta 50 euros. Sentence number 1 simply and directly gives us the range of prices. The sentence number 2 puts more emphasis on a full spectrum of prices. And that's it really. I hope it made some sense and things are more clear now. You can go now, or you can jump with me to the forbidden section of the video, which is all about learning how to swear like a legend. Today's curse word is Cabron. It will not take long, so pay attention. You've heard this word many times in your life and you can know it can be used as an insult, but now it's time to take it up a notch and really learn what it's all about. By the way, if you don't know what's going on right now, watch this video where we discuss how swearing in Spanish makes you a better person. Part 1. Origin. The Spanish word for goat is la cabra, so cabron is a slang word that derives directly from it. The masculine version of this slang is cabron and the feminine is cabrona. The reason why being called cabron was an insult is because goats are considered to be stupid. Part 2. Use cases. Number 1. Historically, it was used to describe someone who is a cuckold, that is, someone whose wife would be unfaithful. For example, dicen que es un cabrón porque su mujer lo engaña. Number 2. You can use the word cabron as an insult, such as asshole, bastard, jerk, or motherfucker. For example, ese cabrón me robó el dinero. Number 3. And as always, when it's used with close friends, it can be either a sign of admiration, ese hombre es un cabrón para el fútbol, or a playful insult, cabrón, me ganaste otra vez. In this case, the word cabron is like you're saying dude or bro. Or you can even use it to describe something that is cool. Ese carro está muy cabrón. Part 3. Regional differences. It seems like it's considered to be equally insulting in most places, but Mexico seems like the best place where the playful aspect of the word cabron truly shines. As always, use these words sparingly and only with your friends and enemies. We're almost done. Let's do a quick recap and I'll let you go. Both de and desde are prepositions. We use de to talk about generic facts such as origin, possession, material, quality, content, cause, and time or period. While desde is used to show emphasis on anything that has to do with a movement in time and space, such as starting point in time, starting value or amount, and starting point of movement. After that it gets a little tricky, because as soon as it's time to talk about ranges or time periods or places to travel or money and such, people start losing their shit. No, we don't do that here. All you have to do is ask yourself whether you want to convey the information generically or you'd like to focus everyone's attention on the specific range you're describing. So if you want to say the train goes from Madrid to Barcelona, you can either say el tren va de Madrid a Barcelona if you feel that there's nothing to highlight. Or you can say el tren va desde Madrid hasta Barcelona if you feel like it's important to highlight the whole extent of the journey. The translation doesn't change though, so keep that in mind. You should also keep in mind that both de and desde can be used in lots of popular expressions that have nothing to do with the rules that we've been talking about. In this case, you'll have to memorize them, but it should be easy because they are used everywhere. The last thing we discussed today was the curse word cabron, which comes from the word la cabra, a goat, and can be used to insult someone, call someone a cuckold, and show signs of admiration and friendship when used in the right circles. That's it for today. All the materials are in the description. You might like this video and you might hate this one. Thank you for watching and let me know if you have any questions or video suggestions. See ya!